Good morning, this is Rich Nelson with Allendale. We have a special update. Today is April 12th of 2016. Of course, with our monthly supply-demand report, we have a lot to talk about. But regarding numbers here, as far as corn, USDA did increase corn ending stocks for old crop, going up from 1.837 billion bushels last month to now 1.862. So higher stocks, in fact, a little higher than the average trade estimate of 1.847. You'd call that very slightly bearish. One thing we were kind of surprised about to see was how USDA got to these numbers on the corn side of things. They did increase corn for ethanol by 25 million bushels. Seems very, very reasonable. They increased other industrial, we call the other issues, which are not ethanol here, as far as the industrial portion. That was up 1 million bushel. The surprising part was USDA actually lowered the feed residual numbers here by 50 million bushels on this report. This is certainly quite a bit of a surprise when the recent grain stocks report indicated that second quarter feed residual use was very strong. In fact, 7% higher than last year. Now, where it stands as far as feed residual, USDA is calling for a 1.4% decline now to 5.250 billion bushels. So a 1.4% decline. This comes even though first half feed use was actually up about 2%. So to make USDA's brand new numbers work on feed use for the second half of the year, we're going to have to run an odd 9% decline year over year from here on out. So I got to say, USDA's numbers on corn ending stocks, we agree with the idea of an increase in ending stocks, no doubt about that. We're quite a bit surprised that USDA chose to drop feed residual in order to get there. We certainly would suggest that exports would have been the avenue to lower demand and therefore raise stocks. So bottom line, as far as USDA's numbers, yes, they did raise stocks. We're a little hesitant to say that it's a valid report, though, a valid move by USDA. As far as world numbers, world corn stocks, they grew from about 207 million tons to now 208.9 million tons. So higher world stocks. They raised Argentina's corn crop by 1 million ton, now to 28. Now, as far as other changes, they also raised Mexico and Ukraine by small amounts there as well. Now, there were quite a bit of changes on imports and feed use and even exports as well. We're not going to get into those numbers in detail. But as a whole, as far as corn, you can call this report slightly bearish. As far as soybeans, USDA lowered stocks from 460 million bushels to now 445. The change they made there was about a 15 million bushel increase for exports. Now, Allendale would agree that the export numbers could have been increased slightly. What we were surprised about was that USDA left crush unchanged, even though our numbers year-to-date would suggest that we're a little behind where we need to be as far as that goes. So USDA's report was a little bullish. As a little surprise, the trade was only expecting 456. Over on the world numbers for soybeans, USDA did raise stocks from 78.9 million tons to now 79.0. So a very slight increase as far as that goes. USDA did that by increasing Argentina by about 500,000 ton. They dropped China by a very small amount. This is for the crop that China harvested back this past fall here. As far as other numbers, China did also, they were raised as far as imports from 82 to now 83 million tons. Allendale certainly agrees with that. We feel that there's probably another 1 million ton increase later on throughout the year. So as far as big issues on soybeans, lower stocks for the U.S. side, a little higher stocks for the world side. You can call that report as a whole mixed to slightly bullish. As far as wheat numbers, USDA did raise stocks by about 10 million bushels from 966 to now 976. As far as the only change there, well, they dropped the feed residual use estimate here by about 10 million bushels. Not a big surprise there. The average trade guess was 979. So as far as numbers on the wheat side, neutral on the U.S. wheat picture. As far as the world numbers, well, they did go ahead and raise stocks. They were 237.6 million tons. Now the old crop picture is 239.3. Only real change on the production side, we see that USDA did add about 1.5 million tons to European Union's already harvested crop from last year. As far as other numbers, not a whole lot to look at regarding brand new changes. Looks as though the world numbers here, like I said, a little bearish there. So main point here for today's report, yes, U.S. stocks as far as corn were neutral. However, keep in mind we're still questioning that feed residual number. As far as the U.S. side on soybeans, that was a little positive. As far as U.S. side on wheat, that, in this case, it was pretty much neutral here. So as a whole, market's probably not going to have any big reaction off this report. Keep in mind for new crop numbers, those will not be posted on these reports until starting with the May supply demand. So we'll look for that number from USDA next month here. If you have any questions about these markets, how to market in this environment, trade or whatnot here, give the Allendale a call, 1-800-262-7538.